Hey everyone, you got Carl and Eric here of Tabletop Tango, your friendly neighborhood Savage Worlds YouTube channel. This is kind of a cache. Today we're going to go
Yeah.
through and Eric's going to help me build a character for his campaign that's been going on. It's a little bit different because I'm coming in later in the campaign as a that was kind of recurring NPC that wasn't an NPC, and Eric can talk a little bit more about that. So hey, that's what we're gonna do, and cue the music.
World, one of the best games today. Hey,
Hey everyone, it's Carl and Eric with Tabletop Tango. Look at the bubbles, do the stuff as always, and getting back into rhythm, kind of trying to. I got all my
We're
stuff
back,
set
baby.
up. I got all my stuff set up. It's probably not the way it's ultimately going to be, but we can at least do some recording and try some stuff out here. So, what are we doing today? Today we're going to create a character.
Yeah. So today, I mean, this is definitely like we said. You said it's a casual video. He wanted to get him into my game finally, so we thought we might as well do the character together and just do it as a video. So this is not going to be at the level of our normal videos, but we thought somebody might appreciate just seeing Savage Worlds content, or kind of a more organic way of doing a build, not like my normal build videos, which are much more planned out.
This is going to be very
This is
organic.
definitely off the cuff. So very quickly, just this game is using Savage Pathfinder, modified by my own. I have a big old world document with some added features. And he is coming in as what I call a free golem, which is kind of basically like an awakened golem. Just whatever happened in the game, golems kind of spontaneously started getting sentience, and that's what Carl's playing. He's playing one that is basically the first one ever because of circumstances. Yeah, he's been frozen right now on the player's ship. Yeah, they thought he was kind of a statue at first. They think he's real. They've been, shining him up, and the girl that's on board has tea parties. So he's finally going to come out of his stupor, and that's how we're kind of bringing him in. Cool. So yeah, this is going to be an Advanced 9 character, and he's using a custom ancestry called a free golem. And we can kind of, you bring up the character sheet, Carl.
It's up. It's up. Character sheet is up on the screen right now.
Bring up some of the stuff, and you can kind of scroll down. Now, this is the normal ones are called wood golems. He's a little bit different since he came into existence by drifting through this magical barrier in the ocean. So he's been infused with salt water, so he is driftwood. So normally there'd be a fire weakness, and he would have dark vision, but those are gone for the driftwood because it's not easy to light, right? You on fire, and you're coming in as a gunslinger. We can start that out. That's kind of your base. Okay. So you can look at what's there. They have the construct ability, the magical construct ability.
Hold on,
which gives them certain stuff.
Is that in about? Where is that? I got the character sheet
if you
up.
just go to the description. So if you just click on up top under archetypes, it says free golem driftwood in the character sheet. It'll bring up the character sheet there, the ancestry sheet. Yeah. And if you scroll down, the constructs. They have the big and cumbersome, so things are a little bit more expensive, but they're size 1. They get a +2 toughness. Also, for the wood golem, they have the multi-arm ancestry ability, which basically it's a very, very we've learned now from our other game that's a very powerful ability that allows you to carry like a bunch of weapons and shields at the same time, or two-handed weapons, things like that. So it's a pretty interesting ancestry ability. Okay, so we know that he's a wood golem. So we know you want to kind of start as a gunslinger, but I'm here to like help guide Carl along because I know the book so well. So what is your general idea for this character beyond what we've talked about?
Well, so he's kind of he's kind of a gunslinger, but also has kind of a roguish side of him. He drifted in, became sentient, spent some time with the Uruxi, learned some clandestine elements while he was learning firearms, and then sort of starting to take on the world. So that's kind of where I want to go from a mechanical standpoint. Gunslinger plus some roguelike abilities. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's important making characters like this, especially when you're at higher level, is like, besides your hindrances and everything, which is, I don't know if we're going to talk about that in this video because that's more of a character choice, right? More of a flavor choice. Very few times hindrances can affect mechanics. like with something like the hesitant hindrance that can kind of work with certain builds, or like getting to get the menacing edge. You sometimes have to have a hindrance that works for that, but most of the time it's just flavor. But the big questions to answer, besides like your personality and all that stuff, mechanically, is what is your main role in combat, or like main role, maybe secondary role, and then what is your kind of main role and secondary role outside of combat, right? So I think that's the questions we first need to answer now, and that helps gives the most direction. So we know that you want to be a gunslinger of some type.
Yes.
But what is your main kind of role in combat? Are you picturing yourself being kind of a more sniper character, kind of rolling with shotguns, being a big switch hitter between a lot of things, having multiple weapons to be able to do like multiple shots per round and maybe do tests at the same time, right?
So
you said rogue, so we know sneak attacks in there, right?
Yeah. So from a ranged combat standpoint, I really don't see him. I really don't plan on having him. This was different than we talked about. I think originally I was thinking about maybe he would dual wield with a sword or something, but I think he's more just going to be wielding a pistol and a rifle. Because he's got plenty of hands to do that. Okay. And then, the pistol, if he ever gets into short range, he'll be shooting his pistol against the parry and whatever, but he's going to, go all out with the guns from a standpoint of the standard combat. But then I do need to have a little fighting and a little ability to, some weapons, so that from a rogue sneak attack, if I'm close up, I'll be able to do something. Obviously I can, surprise somebody with a gun, but if I do need to do some close in combat, I can do that.
Well, now you have 4 arms. So what are we looking at? You're looking at kind of having, you want to make double shots with 2 different weapons, and then you'll have a free arm if you're doing a rifle and a pistol or a revolver.
Yep.
Are you thinking about having a shield or something like that?
I don't normally have characters that carry shields, but this might be a good one to try that with. Sure, why not?
Okay. So you're want to go with a rifle, but you definitely want to do like go the whole double weapon route, right? Like per round, shooting multiple rolls. Now we'll talk about guns, some of their drawbacks. There's both early firearms and advanced firearms, but all guns have reload too. Gunslinger makes it a little bit easier in some ways, although it's we'll see how this plays. I want to do a video on Gunslinger because while they greatly improved it in the newer edition of the APG2, it's still it's like all fantasy guns, I feel like, fall prey to this, and that's in the action economy. Now he will get access to advanced firearms, which will kind of make it playable in my opinion, because with the you can only apply the rapid reload edge to advanced firearms. You can't do it with early firearms. So, outside of just carrying a ton of like muskets or like handguns, right? Pistols, that reload too will really hamper you. But we're gonna have advanced firearms. You're gonna have, flexibility
I'm probably
in that.
Gonna try to get a revolver and then maybe a pepper box rifle kind of thing. So.
Oh, we also look at, he has 50,000 gold to spend, which seems like a lot, but Pathfinder is actually very expensive stuff in Savage Pathfinder. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay.
Well, that's like 11 grand right there.
Now, what's your secondary?
Yeah.
What's that?
That's like 11 grand right there just for the guns.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, so you talked about wanting to do kind of rogue. So I'm assuming kind of like thievery, right? Be kind of a scout maybe. Are you also looking at like maybe a little survival elements too, if we can fit that in?
Well, he certainly has done that part of his career, to be a survivalist and kind of living on the run in a sense. So perhaps. But what are your thoughts?
If we can fit it in.
Yeah, but what are your thoughts of waiting, since we're grabbing the rogue class edge at the season rank or whatever? Yeah.
I mean, I'll say that one of the things you can do, and it's fine, like, we can talk about like overpowered builds or whatever, but I understand Savage Pathfinder is player characters are very powerful, so I bring a lot of heat when in combats. So don't feel bad about trying to optimize as much as possible, kind of within the bounds of your character concept. Multi-classing, taking class edges and prestige edges are some of the most powerful options you can do in Savage Pathfinder by far. In your game that I played with Savage Pathfinder, I had Monk, Sorcerer, and Inquisitor, as well as the Dragon Disciple one. So you get a lot of stuff and flavor and flexibility having that. Now, I would say, we're taking Gunslinger, we're taking Rogue. Ranger could definitely be on there, especially in Veteran. If you remember, I did one of my only Savage Pathfinder builds was a Ranger kind of build. I don't know if I actually used the fantasy if it came with it, but Ranger gets access to mystic powers. So does Rogue, but the Ranger ones have some really powerful ones, including Entangle as a mystic power, which is very, very powerful. Now, I don't know if that fit your concept, but Rogue and Ranger, because of Entangle, means that you can automatically entangle somebody, which makes them vulnerable, opening them up to your sneak attacks, right? So it can be a very powerful option, as well as doing tests with both of your guns as well. So that's something to think about at Veteran, but we know that we want to do Gunslinger and Rogue. So let's just start this out. So you get your first class feat for free. So I've made all the Gunslinger stuff in the items. So if we have your sheet open now, I'm going to drag Gunslinger in, and the prerequisites for Gunslinger is going to be agility of D6 and shooting of a D6. So just so you know, like where everything is in this, we're using the Forge, by the way. In the compendium packs, I've made a player folder that has kind of all of the folders, all the compendiums that you need. But for now, I'm just going to quickly drag in shooting, because we know you're going to start with shooting, right?
Yep.
Of a D6. And that's what I often recommend for new players, especially, is that look at the edges and stuff that you want, and then see what the prerequisites are, because that's when you can start plugging in stuff, right? That you need. So we know. So you've already, this looks like you've already boosted up your attributes to where you want with your first 5 points, right?
Yep, I did indeed.
So we have 2 points in agility, 1 point in spirit, strength, and vigor. So that's 5. So that's what we're starting with. Good on you. And then shooting, let's just boost that up to a D6 immediately, right?
Oh, I'm thinking more like at least a D8 to start with, but
yeah, I mean, you can do that. I was just putting it at the prerequisite before counting stuff, but that's totally up to you. You can change that. No, I mean, go ahead, but put it up to a D8 now, because that's where your agility's at, right? So that's 3 points out of your 12 skill points. And I'm just going to drag you here so we have an easy one to open. Okay, so you've put up shooting to D8. You put your attributes where you want. So let's just drag in Gunslinger.
I didn't save it apparently.
Which I have under the items, so I'm just going to drag it in. Now, okay, so Gunslinger gives you a couple different things. Now, I had to make these all because there is not APG2 yet available for Foundry, so I made all the Gunslinger options. One thing I just wanted to showcase here, Carl, for people at home, for things like the Gunslinger, things like the Bard, and things like the Inquisitor, that come with these kind of tokens, right? If you're doing it at an IRL game, that it's easy to track. But here, I found the best way. First, I would use consumable item as it, but now I found the best way is to actually do it through PowerPoints. So within the Gunslinger Edge, when I made it, you can select an option. If you go to the Edges section on your sheet, in the properties of the Edge, if you ever edit the Edge, so if you go to the Edit part and go to Properties, you can see where you can create an arcane background. And then I created a custom power just called Grit. So if you see Grit there, are you in this part of the character sheet?
Yep.
Okay, so just click on Grit real quick. This is just like a side thing of what I find it the easier. So I just made a power called Grit. And if you notice down in the arcane section, I put Grit there. So this enables you to now, if you go to your power section of your character sheet.
Oh, that's where I am. I'm sorry. You were still in the edges. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm in.
Yeah, I was in the edges. So when you're creating an edge, so things like the Bard or the Inquisitor are already made. But if you're creating a custom edge, you can turn it into an arcane background that gives you the powers tab, and then just make a custom power called Grit or called Bardic Inspiration. And yeah, you can go to the power, but click on the Grit power. If you can see in the edit, I listed under the arcane Grit. And what they did is a really cool thing for the Foundry Savage Worlds is that creates like a separate power section. So if you had if you got arcane powers from somewhere else, you could call it something else. So if you took Ranger and got the Mystic Powers, you'd have a separate section that said like Ranger Mystic Powers, which would have its own PowerPoint pool, if that makes sense. So this enables you to have your treat this as like tokens, right? So if we star it and we put PowerPoints 5.5, go to your trait section now. Now under the quick access, we have something called grit, right? And this is actually the best for Gunslinger as well. So when you click the little chat box next to the quick access, you can see a little dialog box pops up in the chat messages, and that enables you to, add or subtract PowerPoints, which is your grit tokens. Because one thing we'll see with Gunslingers is that you can gain and lose grit, right? You can during combat. So I guess maybe we should go over Gunslinger real quickly, but basically you have pistols, armor restriction light. You get a couple different deeds. One's the blast lock, which enables you to quickly, it's kind of a holdover flavor thing from Pathfinder. Quick clear, which makes it easier when you have misfires. And then you get into what you can use grit for. One of the things is called targeting. So as long as you have a grit, you gain a free reroll on failed shooting rolls while you're at short range. So you just have to have a grit to do that. And then you can spend grit outside of your short range to also get that reroll, right? So this makes them a little bit more accurate, but remember, we're also fighting against the reload penalties. And then there's also ways that you can get grit back. You can spend a Benny when the encounter starts, and you get a pool of 5 grit tokens. And then you can gain more grit by when you get a raise on attack, instead of doing extra damage, you can get a grit token. And whenever you kill somebody, you get a grit token. So they made this much better from the earlier version, which was just you had to spend a Benny or have a Benny, and it was like way too restrictive, right? So that's the Gunslinger in the base Gunslinger. Okay. And now you have a little pool of grit. So this is just my recommendation for anybody running Savage Foundry. It's just make a custom power that's either grit or Bardic Inspiration. This makes it the easiest way to track. Okay. Cool. Let's get back to your character creation.
All right.
So I would say probably do skills now. To go up to your 12 skill points. Right?
Go up to my 12 skill points. I can go up to 12 skill points.
Yeah, spend your 12 skill points at this point. The only other thing to look about is like if there's any edges or that you really want to kind of plan ahead. Now you want rogue, right?
Yes.
And are you also going to want the thief edge?
Yes.
Okay. So if we look at real quick, the thief edge and rogue. So the rogue class edge, here we go. The rogue class edge needs agility D6, notice D6, stealth D6. So you're going to know by season do you want those skills. And the thief edge requires agility D8, which you have, stealth D6, and thievery of D6. So basically, for those 2 things, you're going to need stealth, thievery, and notice at a D6.
Okay, so this is Savage Pathfinder, and where is the character so I can grab the skills out of
So for skills, go into the compendium, and then there's a players folder, and I just put everything there for the players to make it easy.
That's what I was looking for.
So you'll see the skill folders there. Yeah.
All right, so what did I need? You went through that pretty quick. So I need...
Oh, sorry. So you're going to need stealth, thievery, and notice all at D6. So we're getting thievery to a D6, which is going to be 2 more points. Are you going to do this all now?
Well, I'd like... So there's probably so many...
So one thing to consider here is that notice you only have smarts at a D4. So you can either spend the extra skill points now, right, before seasoned to get just to a D6, or you can kind of rely on your advancements later on to like get smarts up to D6 and then take it. But again, are you really going to need smarts later, right? It might not be worth it if you don't think yourself as ever using smarts. Now, the only other thing to consider, again, I know this is a lot, but if you want to think of yourself as also the survivalist, right, then survival is a smart skill, and also woodsman, which is something that you might want, again, requires survival of a D8. So, having smarts at a D6, it might be good something to wait to raise that to get survival and notice to where you want it, right? This is kind of how we're juggling everything.
Well, that's something I can do in my first, if I want to do that as part of my first attribute
either
increase.
your character creation stuff now. You could just raise your smarts right now to a d6 as one of your, spend 2 hindrance points on getting smarts to d6 right now.
Sure, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, close.
Just to like kind of make it easy and just get it up to where you need it, right?
All right, so what do I got now? I've got stealth, thievery. Gave myself some fighting.
Okay, 2 points of fighting. So you're at 8 points right now.
I want a little intimidation, if that's okay. Oh, I closed the skills. Sorry.
And you can either raise notice now or do it later.
Okay, hold on.
Looks like you have stealth in 2 places. Is that?
Oh, what did happen there? Did I accidentally drag it in twice?
Did you add stealth in and then?
Oh, I already had stealth. Yeah, I added it in.
I'll delete it for you and change it. Then.
Okay. I had stealth at D6.
Yeah. I don't know why it says you have something to do with the sheets. I might have to upgrade this. Is the problem to 13? It says -2 stealth. Isn't that weird? Oh, you know why? Because you're encumbered right now, so that's why. Because I put 50,000 platinum just a track. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
I got a lot of cash I'm carrying around, so.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's that add up to? Where am I at here?
So it should be at 9. Real quick count again is 1, 2 fighting. Oh, 2 intimidation. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Did I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, you're at 11. Your athletics is still pretty low. Sorry. You also get 1. Everybody got free boating.
Oh, okay. Well, let me bump my athletics up to a D6.
Okay. So you don't have any survival lives yet, but we can always get that later with advances.
And then I need boating. And that's at a D4, right?
Yep. This is a nautical game. I mean, they're in like kind of a giant archipelago, similar to.
Yep.
Yeah. So everybody kind of gets boating as a core skill.
Okay. All right, let's keep going.
Cool.
We're at half past if we've got to go.
Yeah,
a lot of advances.
Yeah. Okay. So so basically we only have 2 hindrance points left, right?
Yep.
Because you spent 2 on the attribute and you're not a human. So you do know that you're going to want to be double wielding whatever, right, without penalties. So I think we want to clearly start with ambidextrous. Right?
I agree.
Okay. So drag that bad boy in.
Oh, wrong button. I need edges.
Now you'll notice there's 2 edges folders. One's the core rules and one's APG. Just.
Which one do you want me to use?
So it's going to be in core rules.
Okay, well that's not what I'm in. So all right.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Cool. Okay. So that's then you get 1 free edge that's seasoned or I think it was seasoned or veteran or lower. So in this case, I would look to the combat edges probably. And there's something there that may be a higher level one. Now let's see. Rapid reload is a novice edge. And for you, it doesn't really matter because you're going up to veteran, but if there's something that you really, really wanted, Now, are you going to look? Do you think are you going to be testing? You think is that going to be part of your?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yep.
Okay. Then we can also look at Killer Instinct.
I like that one.
That's a seasoned edge.
I like that one.
So take that as your free edge then.
Is that what is that one under? Combat?
So it's in combat edges in the core.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. So now we're kind of set up. Now is I would say if we were playing this from zero, we probably would do this a little bit differently. Just because, right, you're not quite set up as where you want it, but because we can kind of look ahead and it's fine. It's just we're doing this quickly. So okay, so for next advance, we're going to go to the about. I'm going to just do an add advance to help you out here. We know there's a couple edges we still want. We definitely know we want 2-weapon fighting. We know we want the thief edge, right? So I think let's just easy to get those out of the way. Now, do also note that if you want to take any type of attribute raise, that's something that we want to also try to accomplish now in novice before we get to season, because we'll be stacked for things.
Right.
So, but we know we want thief and we know we want 2-weapon fighting, right? That's just a given.
That is true.
So why don't we just do thief right now? And I'm also going to add here to track it as 2-weapon fighting.
And one of my
got those in?
Yep. One of my advances I do want to increase it. One of my traits.
Okay, we might as well do that now then, right?
Yep. I was thinking about, because I'm only at a D. My shooting is only at a D8 right now, so I was thinking about bumping agility up 1 to start off with, and then maybe come along with something else later.
That sounds good to me.
When I get to season.
Yeah. I have the feeling you're not going to have room for it, but we'll see. I think agility is your main skill, right?
Yep.
So yeah. And remember, if you want to do woodsman and be more of a survivalist, you're going to have to take survival at some point too.
Yeah, I have a feeling that one's going to fall by the wayside, but we'll see.
Okay, we'll see. Yeah. Because ranger can be very powerful, very, very powerful. On top of everything else that you're doing. Okay, but we're here. So we took agility. That's our 3 edges. So now we're getting into the advanced 4. Now we know we want rogue, but we also there's 2 gunslinger seasons edges that are very good that you're going to want. So right there, that's 3 advances. I mean, maybe one of those you're not, but I think 2 of them you're definitely going to. There's 2 edges that are pretty much set here, right? So for this one, do we want to take rogue right now?
Yes, we can take rogue.
Okay, so let's grab Rogan. And Rogue, Rogue and Gunslinger have the same armor limitation, so there's no problem there.
Yep, it's convenient.
Cool. So that was that. Now, the next Gunslinger edge is targeting, which is pretty much. That's what it's all about. Because at this point, you don't really have that much grit to really spend, right? Like the targeting kind of gives you some more flexibility with longer ranges. They call both targeting in the deeds and then targeting. I think it's a holdover from their last revision of this, so it's kind of confusing. But targeting is the new edge, and it allows you. It basically, you could spend a grit to get an additional benefit to called shots, which is really, really cool. And that's to me like the coolest part of Gunslinger is kind of this targeting and being able to do these extra things. And honestly, like called shots are a little bit lame on their own vanilla wise. Like especially the hands and legs don't really do much. So this is like really, really cool. Like hand being able to automatically disarm, and then the damage roll is how many inches away. Like that's crazy. That is cool. Such a good debuff for an enemy that has a weapon. That it's because normally I've talked about it in other videos. Disarming sucks. Like there's like you have to then hit and reach a certain threshold, and then they get to roll to even see if it happens. Then it only goes a little bit far. Like it's like there are all these different steps. This is automatic, right? But the only problem here is that you're taking negatives to this. If you have to reload on something, then that's a negative, right? Because there's a reload penalty that's going to happen. So we'll see how this plays out in the game. We haven't played a Gunslinger yet between me and Carl, but I think you'll definitely want targeting, right?
Sure, I like that idea.
Okay, so I will drag that in for you because
just targeting is seasoned and Gunslinger is all I need, right? Okay.
Yes. So it's a custom thing that I had to do.
So you have to drag that one in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, I dragged it in. Now we're kind of faced with a little bit of dilemmas at this point. You want some more skills. You want some more attributes. One of the other edges that are essential for you is rapid reload.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So that is absolutely essential because, like I said before, guns have reload 2, and only advanced firearms can take rapid reload, which changes it to reload 1. Now I'm just hand waving that because of his ancestry that it's going to apply to all firearms that he has, because he's not going to have his gear when he first starts. So he'll have to rely on the early firearms, right? So but yeah, let's throw in that rapid reload.
All right, rapid reload,
which I believe is also in the core book under combat edges. Okay,
rapid reload. There it is.
Cool. Now, there is another veteran Gunslinger edge that for some reason they put this in the APG2. It's not in the Gunslinger section. It's in the additional class edges, which I don't know why they just put stuff there.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
In the same book that the class, whatever.
Extra
so
grit.
Basically, you always start with 3 extra grit tokens. Now, whether this is worth it to you, it's hard to say without you've actually been playing the game already, right? This is going to do a lot of being able to retain bennies. So it probably, in my opinion, is probably worth it. Like you might not even need to spend a benny, right? When you start. The problem is with the way Gunslinger works. I mean, so it's not even, so actually forget that. Gunslinger is once per encounter as a free action. You can spend a benny to get them. That lasts at the end of the encounter. So personally, I think extra grit is worth it because, you get those 3 grit tokens at the beginning. If you find yourself running out, right, and not getting any back by killing people or doing that raise thing, then you can always spend a benny to get those 5 grit tokens, right? So in my opinion, this will greatly save bennies. Even better than something like luck, because if you're in multiple combats, you're getting these three tokens every time. That potentially save you 1 or more. So in my opinion, it's probably worth it. Again, we don't know in practice, but it's up to you whether you want that or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing.
There is definitely a lot of other edges and skills that could benefit you at this point.
Yeah, I'm going in on it, right?
Okay.
So that's one's also.
So we'll turn in this extra grit to about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, custom one. I dragged it in. Add advance. Extra grit. Okay. Now, the player characters do not have a character who is good at survival at this point. The person left who is a rogue survivalist, they have hired there's kind of a mercenary system. They've hired a wildcard druid that's kind of acting as the navigator at this point. But if that is a role that you want to fill, we're pretty much, you're at pretty much veteran now, right? So
yeah.
If you want any extra skills or any extra things, this is the time to take even a little bit of survival, right?
So survival is...
But also if you wanted to take ranger, I'm just... Right now we're at 7. So remember the next advance is going to be veteran. And we do have Gunslinger veteran edge. There's also rogue edges that you didn't take, I want to point out.
Yeah.
So if you want to be... There's the trap finder edge, which is a really good trap edge. There's
do you
also
have a lot
going
of
to be
traps in your game?
The uncanny reflexes edge.
Do you have a lot of traps in your game?
They're there, certainly. I put them in.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's been kind of on and off when there is traps. I mean, the guy who did it before definitely, I don't always have like huge dungeons where I put like, specific traps in. It's often more narrative of like, you're going through here, there's a trap. So it's up to you whether you want to take that. You can always take it later, right? If you find yourself having it. You have pretty good thievery. So now I do want to point out you did raise your smarts before though.
Mm-hmm.
And to only get notice up, which isn't the most efficient thing if you never take any other smart skills, right? Having you raising your smarts to D6 pretty much did nothing for you at this point. It would be way better for you if just to spent 2 skill points to get notice up, right?
True.
So,
but I was planning.
It's kind of like if you don't take survival, yeah.
I was planning on.
So you can always go back and tweak that. Yeah, you can always go back and tweak that if you want to not take anything else with smarts, right?
Well, can I take survival and still? I want to still. So I get 2 skill points, right?
Yes. So if you took the skill raise at 8, you could take survival at a D4 and then raise up shooting to D10, which I think you wanted to do probably anyways, right?
That was the plan.
Okay. So I guess that will be the.
So I'll bring survival on.
Raise 2 skills. But again, survival's only at a D4. So again, it's not quite worth it yet, unless you plan in the future of raising it to a D6.
I will. Yeah.
Okay. So then we'll keep smart at a D6 then. Survival and shooting. All right. And now we're here at 9. This is your final, ability. Now I definitely would recommend some type of edge at this point. Either one of your. Now, the Gunslinger Edge, just to remind you of what it is Daring Shot. I don't know about this is the greatest one for you. It's you spend a grit token and do a single attack action, and then if it hits, you double the damage dice. With how you're set up with having multiple guns, in my opinion, it's just better to always do multiple shots.
Yeah,
honestly.
I agree.
This is something, again, I don't think you can take Ranger at this point because Ranger, if you want to take Ranger, let's go to Ranger real quick. When I say that, I'm going and looking at the PDF. You need a survival of D6. So you have everything else, but you needed that one more point of survival. Again, you could always tweak if you really wanted Ranger. So what would Ranger give you? So Ranger would give you the ability to have a favorite enemy. Which for you is about you get to reroll attack and tracking against a specific type of enemy. Now, for your character, your character definitely has some favorite enemies. Have what we talked about, the lore of your character.
Yep.
Favorite terrain, which gives you kind of a level-headed in a certain terrain, and then it gives you Wilderness Tribe, which kind of ignores the difficult grounds. Now, it's not hugely impactful at the get. Right. The better things for it are being able to take Quarry, which then gives you another favorite enemy, another favorite terrain, which then starts to really increase that. Right. And you're mainly it's there for that favorite enemy. And then access to mystic powers, which is, again, just having Entangle as a mystic power is crazy. Entangle is the hands down the best control power in the game. Still, I feel like it's still king. I mean, I think in the Sci-Fi Companion, Gravitate has kind of. I mean, you've seen me use Gravitate. If that's their intention of how it's used, Gravitate's probably one of the best control type powers in the game, debuff. But Entangle's still, in my opinion, probably king just generally because it just works. There's no resist roll; it's only recoverable, and it just all the things you have to use actions to get out of it, and they're bound and entangled. And for you, that's enabling you to get sneak attacks at any time. But that's something that you'd have to get later on, right? You can't afford that now because you raised your survival and shooting. Again, you can always tweak that. So I guess all of that said, you could just totally ignore Ranger because it's too much, right? Totally up to you.
And I gotta be honest,
just kind of focus on other stuff.
It also has to be easy to play for me right now because I'm not gonna. I got my own campaign going on, and so I need something that's not gonna dominate my thoughts.
I was just pointing out how powerful Ranger can be, but it's a lot of investment certainly. Yeah. So we can just ignore that completely. So for your final advance, what are we thinking about? Now, as far as your combat, we feel like, you're definitely pretty good as far as being a rogue, right? A thief character. You have thievery, you have stealth, but they are, relatively low skills at this point. They're still only at stealth, and thievery still at only a D6. You do get that +1 in urban environments, right? But you don't have that bonus from woodsman, right? To kind of encourage you to be in wilderness, which a lot of the game does play based in wilderness, but in both things. So you can start kind of planning out to take woodsman, maybe take more skills at this point. As far as edges go, you're pretty good as far as, you have a high shooting, you have rapid reload, you're able to fire both guns at both times, right? The only kind of thing I would look to is, something defensive like dodge. I mean, you are going to have a shield if you plan on taking a shield, so that's going to be a good kind of defensive, right, thing that you can have. Something like quick for initiative. Something like fleet-footed, because for you to get in your ranges that you want. Things like marksman. Now, marksman, you have to be standing still, but it does give you that big bonus, right, for one of your actions. So marksman is something that could definitely be a powerful option at this point. So I definitely think marksman, quick, fleet-footed.
I was thinking about fleet-footed.
Steady hands if you ever want to fire off the ship, but that's not happening all the time. I don't think there's anything really from APG 1 or 2 as far as combat edges. It's kind of like, where do you think he needs to be better at now? Do you think maybe there's skills you still want to invest in skills?
Well, so let's think about what the next thing is, right? So this gets me cleaned. It gets me to where we're at. So if I do want to go, if you need somebody who really does bring Survivor to the table, then I probably should up Survivor so that I can get Woodsman at some point if that's what you really need. So what does the party really need?
I mean, also just to be sneaky in wilderness. I also want to point out that Rogue does get mystic powers too. But they're very utility based. Things like boost trait for athletics, stealth, and thievery. Dark sight. Remember, you've lost your ability to have dark vision because you lost your fire weakness. Sound, silence, and wall walker. So those are also some pretty good, very good utility skills, especially for your builds, right? Increasing your thievery, having dark sight, being able to get up on ledges or whatever, right? Climb over things. So I think Mystic Powers is also in that too, either now or soon, if you want Mystic Powers. Mystic Powers are definitely easier to manage, I believe, than powers anyways. They're pretty easy to manage. So yeah, it's up to you. I definitely think we're looking at Mystic Powers, we're looking at skills, or we're looking at like quick, like those edges that I said before.
I'm sort of thinking about fleet-footed, but I need to read it real quick just to make sure. So
increase your pace by 2, increase your running die step.
Do you do full running die in your campaign?
Yes, of course. That's my homebrew. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course, full running. And we have 2 other characters. We have actually every other character. You're joining a group of 3, so you're joining a bard, a summoner who has a bunch of buff and control powers, and also a cleric kind of tank character who also has buff powers. I believe they have speed. I believe the summoner has speed, so it might not be an issue, is what I'm saying for you specifically. I would definitely consider initiative edge.
Yeah, I guess quick is
skills or mystic powers. Probably get the most bang for your buck.
Let's go with quick then, because I am not going to get level-headed.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I don't think ever getting smarts up to a D6. Now remember, Woodsman's going to require a survival of D8, so that's going to require another skill raise to get survival up to a D6, and then another skill raise to get it up to a D8. Right. So that's going to be 2 advances before you can even get to Woodsman, unless you want to tweak some of the skills right now, like dropping down intimidation or fighting or something like that to then boost up survival. But that's up to you.
Let's take a look what we got here. So
you took quick.
Yes,
I want to add advanced quick.
I took quick.
Okay.
So maybe let me look at what I got. So. Well, I guess fighting a D4 would be okay. But that affects my parry, but I don't plan on being like right in the face of everybody. So maybe I could get away with that.
And you will have a shield, right? So the shield for your D6 strength, I believe the shield that you can carry, and you could always have a magical shield if you wanted to, but the shield, let's see, gear, personal weapons. Now they're a little different than the normal Savage Worlds, I believe. The Fantasy Companion. Oh, I'm an APG 1. That's why I'm confused. I can also just look in the compendium. Gear. Here we go. Okay, shield. So for you, you can only have a light shield. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Unless you get a masterwork. Let me look at masterwork. So masterwork will. Oh yeah, here we go. Armor and shields of masterwork quality reduce the minimum strength requirement of by 1 die type to a minimum of D4. So shields. So having a masterwork shield is definitely what you're going to want, because that will then enable you to carry a medium shield, which will give you +2 parry and -2 cover. So that means you'll be, your parry will be with the fighting of D4 will be 6. If you drop down fighting. Otherwise, it'll be 7 with this.
Well, I'm trying to. So if I drop down fighting and pick up 1 more in survival, and then I get a +1 die for masterwork. So maybe that's okay, I guess. All right, let me tweak that.
I would say either that or intimidation, probably, as far as.
Yeah, maybe intimidation's a better one. Oh.
I mean, you got it at a D4, but, your guy doesn't seem like he's. And it makes sense. Like he was kind of he gained sentience floating on an ocean, landing on an island, a wild island, fighting creatures, and then eventually meeting some Rooksy tribesmen.
So gear, I looked up shield, but for some reason, I spelled it wrong, or did I not spell it wrong? All I get in this magic.
Okay, so I think that's all your.
Oh, that must be under armor.
Your character stuff, right, is done.
Yeah.
We switched intimidation for survival?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So then all your character stuff is done. So that's what we got now. So your character, you're a good thief. You're going to be firing with your pistol and whatever different combination of weapons, but you can fire both. You can do 2 different actions without penalties when you're firing, and maybe sometimes you'll do a test, right, with your shooting to then make them vulnerable. So it's debuffing as well as opening you up to getting your sneak attack damage.
Yep.
Or other people will do it. Right? Just give you flexibility, right? Along with targeting, maybe something you can do as well to also do some cool stuff. So you definitely have a lot of interesting options for combat, right? So yeah, let's talk about gear now. So now again, he's not going to have any of his gear.
Yeah, but we got to add it. We'll add it.
So all the money he's going to be spending is
It's for later. So
I think you froze.
Yeah, we froze on both sides. So
hello?
Can you see me?
Okay.
Yeah.
All good. Again, cash video. we're just making your character and videotaping.
Okay, so for
all right,
gear.
Let's look at shields, right? You want that medium shield. That's going to be masterwork. So that's going to be it costs 9 normally. It's so cheap, and then add 300 to that, so it's going to be 309. So I'm gonna manage the gold for you.
Okay, so I'll drag it over then. How do we set it to be masterwork? Just edit it, or
okay?
Is there a way to tell it that it's masterwork?
Yeah, I believe in the properties. I think it's just as the notes, just say masterwork. I could do it real quick.
Okay.
And then we're going to change that min strength to a d6. Cool. I say before you look at like any magic item, canting things, you want to just get your base gear, right?
Yeah. So
then also you'll have the weight to consider. Now you only have 40 encumbrance. You only have 40 encumbrance, and the guns are actually also a little heavy. So let's look at your guns.
Okay, I wanted a rifle and a pistol.
Now there's not an APG2 here, but if you go to the items, if you go to the items section tab, and then you should see. Let me actually make this available. Configure ownership, all players, say owner. Okay, there we go. You should see a guns folder.
Okay, revolver.
And the rifle pepper box is going to be 15. The rifle pepper box is 15 pounds.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to put any armor on, so.
Well, you could probably get some armor. There might be I think there might be magic. We can look this up later, but I'll look it up. But there might be some magical items that can help you out too. And I think these are going to all be at least masterwork as well too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because you might want them enchanted at some point or enchanted. Okay, so we'll add 300 to the cost. So a revolver costs 4,000.
Yep, they're not cheap.
We manage this. Move 4,300. And a pepper box rifle is 7,000. Is it not doing it? Or am I just... Hold on. 3,809 was the shield. Oh no, right, it's right. Might do this on a calculator. And I would just look at some other. So your weight right now, it's kind of deceptive because of the. You know what? I'm just going to make. I'll do this right quick.
So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Stored. There. I'm just going to change it to stored.
So I'm 28 to 40 pounds. Weight. I'm 28 to 40.
Yeah. And I definitely would look at some armor. Now, again, you could also make it masterwork. At least your torso one, right?
All right, let's see what we got from armor standpoint.
Yes.
I need something light, right?
Yeah. Well, your minimum strength is D6, right? So you believe you can wear that's.
I know, but that's the limit of the classes is that it has to be light armor.
Yeah, true. That's also yeah.
Why is it? Why don't I? Am I in like the wrong? I'm not seeing the armor that I'm looking for.
What's up?
What armor? Give me a name.
Make
of
sure
armor.
there's two gears. There's two gears as well.
I might be in the wrong one.
So we got to make sure you're in the. Yeah. So there's light tunic or jacket, which is 20 and it's 11 pounds. So I'm assuming you want that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll drag that in.
Well, that puts me over though.
20.
Oh, did you drag it in already? Okay.
Yeah.
That puts me over. Oh no, it doesn't.
So you're basically you have a pound of freedom. You have a pound. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Maybe I should increase.
And that shows like having a strength increase or having something that increases your I mean, again, we could then look at an edge, maybe instead of quick, and you could take quick later. You're going to want what's it called? Brawny. Increase your size again, and then your strength die goes up. So you get an extra point of toughness, and your strength guy goes up again. So maybe Brawny is something you want to take.
Okay, we can take Brawny.
All
right, let me get rid of quick here.
And normally this would be a background, this would be in the novice part, but we could have shifted edges around, so we're just not going to worry about like, oh, it's a background edge and it's Brawny. Like he could have taken that instead of 2-weapon fighting, right?
Yeah.
Or thief at that point. So it's like, I'm not going to worry about it.
And that increased my strength, or do I have to increase it myself?
No, your strength is already a D6 and vigor of D6, so you already have that set. So we're just going to get rid of quick for now and put Brawny in there.
That's what I did. I put Brawny in.
Yeah. And then that should have also increased your toughness. Yes, size plus 2. It just does it automatically because you're size plus 2.
But it didn't increase
so you're
my
extra
strength.
big. You're extra big.
Does it automatically change to strength? Because my strength was D6.
Oh, no, it doesn't increase your strength. It just increases your encumbrance limit.
Oh,
so when you go your encumbrance,
sorry,
you can see it's now 39 out of 60.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, got confused for a second there.
Forgot. Now you could have done soldier instead, but I mean, Brawny. That's up to you. You could also do soldier, which is more of like you get rerolls. Do they have soldier in this actually?
I don't want to overthink it. So
yeah, they do. I think so you could also do soldier.
No, let's stick what we got here. So I don't want to overthink it. Okay. So we've got skills, we got edges, we've got gear. Okay. We're in pretty good shape, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't have any magical items at this point. You have no like other gear really. You're gonna need lock picks, things like that.
Yeah, I gotta,
probably right.
I gotta figure that out. So lock picks.
I can grab some lock picks in for you if you want.
That would be great. Yeah, if you want to do it.
There's also like a backpack with stuff, but you don't have to worry about that really. You don't have to worry about those kind of essential stuff. You can get that.
So what's a good magic item? I don't know the magic items in Savage Pathfinder all that well, so
there's a lot. But I also here would look at now you don't have trademark weapon for anything, and remember your accuracy because you're dealing with reloads. You're dealing with so trademark weapons also something that you might want to get at some point. For one or both of your guns. There's just too much to get, right? So I would definitely look at having enchanted guns. Also maybe enchanting your shield or armor. I think enchantments are probably the best place for you to spend your money as far as other magic items. And there definitely is a lot of cool magic items. There's a lot of cool rings that do stuff. There's a lot of cool, random ones like that give you attribute increases and do all this other crazy stuff. Also, you have no, dark vision at this point. You don't have the magical, the thief, right? Mystic powers, something that you definitely want to take at some point as well. But I would definitely look at, because we're dealing with you wanting to do targeting, you wanting to probably, you're reloading and stuff. At times, accuracy might be an issue. So I would look at some of the enchantments. So I believe there's enchantments in all the PDFs, but in the base one, and I thought in Foundry they had something. Enchantments, where is it?
So weapon qualities, I could do accurate.
Here we go.
Which is +1.
There we go. I would definitely get accurate on both of your guns. Right? That's my opinion. I would definitely at least spend 8,000 to get accurate in both your guns.
Yeah. Okay. I can't drag that in. That's not in here, right? I don't think they've got that data.
It's somewhere, but we can just do that manually. So let me first get rid of your gold there. So 8,000, and we're going to remove that there. And then basically, if you edit, I can do your rifle, but you can open up the revolver. And in the notes, we'll put it in the notes section. Put accurate, and then also put the in brackets 1, because it's like one weapon, it's 1 point.
Where's
weapon
notes?
Quality.
Where's notes? There's description.
So if you go into, you edit your revolver, go into properties, and then you'll see notes right there.
Oh, okay. I see trademark weapon, parry, bunch of stuff. I don't see notes.
Just under weight, there's a notes section just to put
there it is.
there.
Oh, there it is.
And then because in the trait modifier box under shooting, put +1.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Now there is other kind of cool options. I mean, definitely maybe for your shield too, your armor, you want something.
Did I get my shield?
But as far as other magic items, you can enchant your shield. So
well, I got a shield. Okay.
Oh, we also because they're masterwork weapons. Yeah, you have a shield. For your masterwork weapons, they also gain an AP. So I'm just going to quickly up your AP by 1 on both of them.
Okay.
Okay, cool. And then your shields, might be looking at some shield ones. I mean, there's Aegis to increase your armor by 1. But your armor at this point isn't masterwork, and you only have you could also get like a, head armor, leg armor, but at this point you only have the torso armor.
Right,
arrow deflection for your shield.
Let me
deflecting for your shield, which increases the parry bonus by 1. That's a cool one. Yeah.
Maybe deflecting would be a nice one for the shield.
Spell resistant armor is very powerful. I mean, so normally in the book, in Savage Pathfinder, I would say 20,000 is about where edges are worth. So a lot of magic items give an edge for 20,000. The spell resistant armor enchantment is actually cheaper. Enchantments tend to be cheaper than like equivalent magic items. So that just straight gives you arcane protection for 16,000, which is cheaper than a lot of the magic items that also give edges. So I just also want to point that out.
Does your campaign have a lot of power users?
And you only need that on one of your armors. It happens. Yeah, there's definitely power users. I mean, it depends. You guys fight different types of enemies. So just the party has faced the main kind of 3 at this point enemy types that they're facing are pirates, which do have a pirate type mage, which are not like there's not a lot of them, but they kind of really hurt the players last time. There's the Dark Tide, which is the I forget the actual name of them. That's kind of like the Uruxi that have been twisted by mysterious forces. That's kind of the main antagonist that you were first facing off with. At this point, they haven't really faced anybody with powers, but there might be in the future. And then, of course, there's the Conclave of Bones, which is the Stitcher cult. They're kind of a necromantic faction that's infested this area as well, and they definitely have a lot of power users. So it definitely happens, right? I'm just saying it's a very powerful for 16,000. You're getting a free edge.
Well, let me think about it. I've got your game's not till Tuesday, so I got a day to think about it. So I think we're going to need to close it up.
For sure. I'm just pointing out some of the things. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a long episode.
Just look at things that are there, right? There's things like Ring of Regeneration that's 90,000, so you can't afford it. But as far as bang for your buck, some of the rings are good. And some of the ones that you can wear are good. So, yeah.
All right. Sounds good. I'll take a look at them. So,
okay. Yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody. This was a cash. I'm sorry I cut Eric off a little bit there. It's time for me to go to bed.
No, it's fine. But anyway, yeah.
So, it's good stuff. I got my character. We may come back and say how things were going at some point, get together and see how things go in the campaign as I join and take on my new role. I don't know if they'll like me or not once I show up, but anyway, so we'll take it from there. And again, thank you everybody for watching. I'm Carl with Eric. This is Tabletop Tango. Look at the bubbles, do the stuff, and we'll catch you next time.
Happy gaming.
Savage Worlds, one of the best games today. Savage Worlds, Benny, enhance my play.